French President Emmanuel Macron played soccer today. Played soccer with some prominent African soccer players, some stars of his country, some French soccer players. Apparently the goal was to raise funds for helping, some students and stuff like that. And I'm trying to understand. So, Mr. President of France, playing soccer with a field of people which 90% look African, with the goal of raising funds for children. And apparently they only rose 56,000 euros. My big question is, let's watch first. That is Cyril Gain behind Macron. The guy in red, his name is Cyril Gain. I don't know if you know him, if you watch UFC, right? He's former interim heavyweight champion. Very good fighter. Very pleasant human being as well. Behind Emmanuel Macron, smiling. Very interesting. Let's go. Let's watch.
President Emmanuel Macron took part in a charity football match on Wednesday and got on the score sheet in the second half. The game at the Stade Bernard Giraud outside Paris
Look at Macron running.
A French foundation dedicated to improving the lives
of playing like a rich kid.
Children and adolescents. Former Arsenal coach Arsène Wenger took charge of one team, while the other had French journalist Jacques Vendroux at the helm.
You look at the field, what you can clearly see here. Let me pause. What you can clearly see here is a lot of Africans. Or at least they look African. Okay? Or at least they came from the African continent. And this is playing a game being played in France to raise funds for French kids. But you have a lot of people looking like Africans, or at least Africans, playing in the field with the President of the Republic of France. What are the goals? Let's watch.
The likes of French national team manager Didier Deschamps, 1998 world champion Robert Pires, and Ivorian legend Didier Drogba.
Beautiful goal by Adebayor.
5 goals to 3. Pires scored
penalty.
a half hat-trick, and Garcia got a fourth before Pires was fouled.
Look at Macron. Now look at Macron shoot this penalty. Watch this man. This is the President of the Republic of France with a goalkeeper in front of him. Watch.
In the second half, and Macron converted the resulting penalty. Samuel Eto'o and Emmanuel Adebayor were among the scorers for Wenger's team.
They clearly let him score. Let me play it again. They let him score. There's no way he scored that. Let's play it again.
Macron converted
Look at
the
that.
resulting penalty.
Oh, you see?
Samuel Eto'o
You see? See the goalkeeper just... Of course, this is the President of the Republic. You have to let him shine. The bottom line is you never know. He might just send a bag of money on your way.
Were among the scorers for Wenger's team. The fixture was organized by football club Variété Club de France, which reunites celebrities and former football stars.
Drogba. Okay, so this was organized by a certain team in France. Apparently, the goal was to raise funds for people with difficulties. I think it's mainly students and stuff like that. And the funds they rose was about $50-something thousand. That's all they could raise. Now my question is this. Looking like a rich kid playing soccer. You can see there was one guy who played with him really, really bad. Watch this guy. Look at this guy. Look. Oof, he almost killed Macron. While other people were certainly, okay, this is Mr. President of France. Let's be nice to him. Let's allow him to have some sort of, ground. This guy said, nah, I'm going to show you. We all know what's happening in Africa right now. Many African nations don't want anything to do with France anymore because of its international policies. Many African nations feel like France has been colonizing them, or at least neo-colonizing them. And by neo-colonization, we're talking about the colonization after colonization. Because we know colonization supposedly ended in the 1960s, where most European countries left Africa, including Britain, Spain, France, Italy, and all that. They left Africa saying, you guys can now rule each other. You can do your own whatever. You are mature enough to rule your own countries. But in reality, as many experts believe, they never really left for good. They left physically, but they stayed economically. They still run the economy of these countries. They still manipulated the fundings. They still manipulated the good, the riches, the wealth. They still manipulated the uranium, the gold, the diamonds, and everything. Now, we're living in a moment where many African nations are standing up to what they call the oppressor. Many African nations don't want anything to do with colonizers anymore. They want fair deals. They want win-win basis type of deals. They don't want to be living in countries where most of the commerce, most of the biggest companies are owned by former colonizers. They don't want that for themselves. And because France has been kicked out of Mali, it has been kicked out of Burkina Faso, and lately kicked out of Niger, they needed to find a pacifist way of coming back into the heart of the Africans. They cannot do it by force. It has to be a game. It has to be a play where the president is playing, is, happy, rolling to the ground with African people. So after all, the president is not that bad. That's what they want as a result. For African people to say, after all, the French president is not that bad. He's not a bad person. Look, he invited Fali Ipupa of the Congo. Congo is one of the most poorest countries in the world, unfortunately. It is one of the richest in terms of minerals. Has uranium, gold, diamonds, more than anything else. In Congo, DRC, they have lithium. They have all the stuff, cobalt, that you need for electric cars, for batteries, for Elon Musk, whatever that car is, for missiles. They have uranium, the uranium that was utilized to bombard Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. Yes, it was extracted from Chinkolobwe in the Congo. They have everything, but most people live under the line of poverty. It's sad. But when you bring your Fali Ipupa coming from that place, you show that you empathize, you sympathize with the Congolese people. When you have Adebayor from Togo, you have Drogba from Ivory Coast, you have Eto'o from Cameroon playing with you. It looks like, oh, we love the African people. We're not that bad after all. Don't be angry at us. Look, we're playing soccer together. It's marketing. Okay, it's branding. It's very high level. It's interesting. But they couldn't rename this game relationship or soccer game between France and Africa because it would be too obvious. It has to be some charity random thing. Charity random, I don't think there's any random when it comes to presidential politics. There's nothing random. Everything is very calculated. We know France is a country that holds many people from various countries, various continents, different places. But let me just remind you, like a couple of weeks ago, there were plenty of Africans in the street of France who were immigrants, homeless, living outside. They were only removed off the street because France had to begin and commence an international sporting event. So they wanted to keep the street clean, to keep a good reputation of the country. They gave them shelters. Where did the shelters come from? I mean, before that, apparently there was no shelters for these people. There was no shelters available for the immigrants. They were sleeping in the street. Sleeping in the street in the cold, yes, in tent. Now all of a sudden, as soon as they had a game happening, an international game, Olympics or something, all of a sudden they found shelters where they could lodge these people. How is that even possible? So all I'm saying is, understand what's happening. Nothing against the French people. I think what everybody wants right now is equal right, equal management of good. It's relationship win-win where everybody wins. Nobody is nobody's servant. It's not that time anymore. Relationships that are genuine, that are real. And I think the work that's being done in the Sahel region is a tremendous work. That's needs quick reaction from the French people. Let me remind you, fellas, that Senegal has just voted a brand new president in power. His name is President Faye. Very young, 44 years old, brave, courageous. He's also polygam. Yes, he has 2 wives. That's none of your business. Okay, let's stay focused. He came into power and the French president made a tweet saying congratulations in Wolof. Wolof is the national language spoken widely in Senegal. He didn't say congratulations in French like they will do. After all, Senegal is the next colony of France, so everybody in Senegal speaks French. So he could have just written in French. He didn't do that. He wrote in Wolof, which is the local language. Many people believe it's a way of humility, perhaps. It's a way of showing that we are at the same level. Some people, critics, believe it's hypocrisy. Okay, why haven't they done it in the past? Why all of a sudden, once things are getting heated up in Africa, in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, they've been kicked out? Maybe it's a way to just, be nice to the president so he doesn't join Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger against France. Let me know how you feel about this. Fella, it's always a great pleasure. Emmanuel Macron playing soccer. He looks like a rich kid running on the field. Rich kids have their own problems. Their own problems are not like yours. They're different. Again, do you think the purpose of this is what? Is it a game or it's manipulation for another level? Should this continue this way? Or should France just admit that, these Africans, after all, are not stupid? Maybe we need to start treating them accordingly. YouTube told us again, fellas, that most of you watch, but you're not subscribed. Please do subscribe and drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about this, and let me know, where do you watch us from? Which city? Thank you for those who did it the last time. We still want to know which city you're watching us for statistic purpose. So you write your city and your country, then we know. God bless.